Hi, my name's Joey. I'm an organizer here at WPA, and today we're going to talk about mandatory subject notices. Now, these notices require employers to notify the labor union of a change in working conditions. And a change in working conditions can be anything from an office move to a new software implementation, maybe a schedule change, or even changes to internal company policies. You can find a list of common examples at the bottom of the notes document that's connected to this training. But I'm going to give just a few more examples just so we can all wrap our heads around what a change in working conditions is. So like I said, if you have like maybe a new shift schedule, or if there's changes to existing shift patterns, they're asking you to come in an hour earlier or stay an hour later. If there's a new workplace policy, or if there's an update to an existing policy, like requiring a new training, adoption of new technology, if you're going to start using a different type of software, or the software has significantly changed, which requires you to change your workflow, or if there is outsourcing of the work, or they contract out services that are traditionally performed by unionized employees. These examples and many others constitute a change to working conditions, which require the employer to send us a mandatory subject notice. So when an employer fails to send us a mandatory subject notice, we file what's called a grievance against the employer for their violation of your rights to bargain these changes. Now, I'll have a separate training about grievances, but generally you can think of it like a lawsuit where we demand remedies in response to both the contract language that was violated and the harm that was done to the employee or the group of employees. However, if your staff rep is never told about the change by any employee and they're not informed by a mandatory subject notice, then it's likely that they have no idea that it's happening, and that change will happen without any bargaining taking place. And the negative impacts that come about from that change that impact employees is not going to be minimized. It's just going to be what it is. So if there is a change in your workplace, please reach out to your staff rep or a steward to make sure that the proper notice has been made. Mandatory subject notices are not private information, and we will always share them with the membership in whatever way works best for you. We could post notices on bulletin boards, email them to all the staff at your location, drop them in a shared drive, post them on the website. Really, any solution that collectively we can come up with to make sure that members know about the changes happening in their workplace, reach out to us and we'll be sure to put those into practice. Now, after a mandatory subject notice has been given, we have a set amount of time to ask questions, identify impacts, and usually that timeline is about 21 days. So in that time, in those 21 days, we'll be trying to identify any negative impacts alongside management and affected employees. So we'll be asking questions to both groups. However, unless we have a really strong and positive relationship with your employer, these discussions often never take place. And it's for this reason that we can file what's called a demand to bargain. So the demand to bargain has to be filed within that 21-day window. And once it's filed, there's really no time limit to how long the bargaining can take. And this demand forces management to meet with us, and it also gives a limited number of affected employees a space to discuss those negative impacts so that they can work with management to find an amicable solution to minimize them. And like I said, if you have a good relationship with your management team, then these discussions happen without a demand to bargain. Like presumably these discussions would happen before they're planning on even implementing the change. These discussions have been happening for a while. It's a known change. By the time the notice goes out and the union talks to management and employees, everyone's aware of it. They've already talked about it. The impact has been minimized, no problem. The demand of bargain process is when those conversations never happened. And that's what it's there for, is to make sure that we can protect your rights and that we're minimizing any negative impacts or changes to working conditions. So, in summary, mandatory subject notices, they're a really vital step in ensuring that changes to your working conditions are purposefully discussed so that they minimize any negative impact on you. So, stay in contact with your staff rep and your stewards to check on any changes, and when a change does affect you, please bring your voice to the discussion and make sure that your concerns are addressed. I want to thank everyone for hanging out with me today. And if you'd like to check out any more trainings, you can always go to WPEA.org and navigate to our trainings page. And if you have any ideas for future trainings that you'd like me to create, my name's Joey. You can contact me at joey@WPEA.org. Love to hear from you. Thanks so much and have a great day. Bye.